Welcome back, team. Okay, let's jump into the context. Firstly, let's take an example, team. Okay, let's take an example. Okay, so fine. So I have an example ready so that our discussion will be very quick. Okay, very quick. Let's not waste time on this particular area. All right, team. Firstly, what you need to understand about your infrastructure. Firstly, that is the first thing you need to keep in your mind. For example, team, let's take a deployed in a company called Accenture. Okay, let's consider that example. I'm just considering Vishnu is one of the Devops engineer. Vishnu is one of the Devops engineer who got selected for Accenture. Okay, who got selected for Accenture. Now, Vishnu is working for a client called Singtel. I'm just taking a client called Singtel, team. Singtel, okay? Now, Singtel is a client. Just follow the point very clearly, team. Let me keep the size as 100. I think later I will raise it. Okay, don't worry. Okay, based on the discussion, I will raise it. Don't worry. So Singtel is a company. Singtel is a company where our DevOps engineer. I'm just taking one of the DevOps engineer here as an example. Okay, as an example. Now, what exactly our DevOps engineer? I'm just taking one of the DevOps engineer as Vishnu. Vishnu is a DevOps engineer who is working for Singtel, but actually he's been selected for the Accenture. From Accenture, he's working for Singtel. Keep the point in your mind. What is Accenture here? Accenture is a vendor. What is Accenture? Accenture is a vendor here. Okay, Accenture is a vendor, team. Okay, so usually most of the service-based methodology will be in this way. You will be recruited for a service-based company. Later, they will sell you to the client. That is what usually they will do. They have a per day rate. Based on that only they will move. That's okay. Fine. All right. Now, usually this Singtel is a client, as I already mentioned. So let's consider a case. Singtel, the company, client company, has a manager. They have a manager who is a cloud manager. Who is a cloud manager in the Singtel company. Okay, all right. Now, the moment when Vishnu moved to the Singtel company and he's reporting to this manager at the client base, that is also all right. Now, I'm just taking a scenario here. Manager asked Vishnu, "Hey Vishnu, we have an application where our developers are being developed. We need to move that application to the infrastructure environment. But manager is really confusing and worrying about where we want to deploy. We have both on-premises, we have both a cloud also. We have two environments as ready. On-premises means it's a own environment, team. It's like a own car. You are owning a car, right? Example. If you own a car, that is your own item. So that is what on-premises. That infrastructure is yours. That's a company's one. Remember that one. But when you go for the cloud, we have different types of clouds. We will discuss different types of clouds in few minutes. But before that, when you come for the cloud, you can consider a cloud environment as a public. You can consider cloud environment as a public. The public cloud environment I'm just considering as a bus. You can take our passenger bus. Usually you can consider that's a public property, right? You can consider that one as a public cloud example. Okay. Right. Now, manager is asking Vishnu, "Hey Vishnu, we have one application which we need to deploy to the environment." That is the use case I'm considering first. Okay, what kind of application it is? Vishnu just raised a question to manager. Now, manager is simply explaining, okay, developers are developing that application. Mostly that application will use an application, a React application or whatever the application, a front-end application, which is connecting to a database. That's all the application is about. Okay. An app which is connecting to the database. Simple. That's all they're talking about. Okay, fine. Let's consider an application which is connecting to the database. Right. In this particular example, this is the example exactly manager is discussing with Vishnu. Now, Vishnu is asking, "Hey manager, I think you have a confusion about which infrastructure. Let's understand what exactly the differences between these two environments, especially infrastructures. One is on-premises, another one is cloud environments. Let's understand more on that. Okay, that is where exactly Vishnu started explaining, not me. Vishnu started explaining what exactly, how exactly the on-premises and the cloud environment deployments would be. That is what exactly Vishnu started, team. Let's move to the part. Okay. All right, team. Now Vishnu started explaining. Now when it comes to the on-premises, okay, all right, okay, fine. Vishnu started explaining to the manager. Okay, now myself as a Vishnu, I'm explaining to the manager team. Now, first and foremost thing, you know one thing very clearly. These are just very easiest thing and also a little bit theory part, team. Okay, just have some patience and just try to understand. Okay, may not be useful exactly in your real-time use cases, but just keep in your mind this particular theoretical part would be good. Okay, just for the knowledge base. All right, first and foremost thing, team, we have on-premises. I'm telling. Okay, so Singtel company has an on-premises. Oh, what exactly the on-premises? I told you already. On-premises means it's a own environment. They have their own infrastructure inside a room. They have some space where they purchased the servers or network or switches, wires, each and everything they keep inside a room, team. That is what exactly the on-premises infrastructure is. You need to manage everything. Keep the point in your mind. You need to manage everything, team. Okay. First and foremost thing, team. See, by seeing that itself, I think you can understand one simple point, team. Okay. That is, obviously, if you are owning something, if you are owning a car, means obviously you need to spend some amount, right? You need to spend some amount, definitely, right? That could be anything, maybe the 1 million INR, whatever it is. You need to spend some amount to buy that particular car, right? The infrastructure. In the same way, you need to spend a lot of amount usually to buy the infrastructure, on-premises infrastructure. I told you already, on-premises infrastructure is the one which is consisting of all the networks, switches, routers, wires, racks, air cons, even coolers, each and everything should be there. Everything should be there, team. Inside a room, a space. That is what exactly your on-premises. Okay. Firstly, you need to pay more to buy the physical servers. Obviously, there is no doubt in that. We are very clear on that. And also, you need to allocate a space for the servers, right? Definitely, we need to allocate some space. No doubt in that. And the next important thing, team. For example, whatever the infrastructure you purchased, you need to maintain that. That is your responsibility, right? You need to maintain. Maintenance is your responsibility. The problem with this infrastructure maintenance is, to maintain this one, again, you need to recruit the team. What kind of maintenance it is? For example, to maintain the hardware, for example, human resources are required for you. Definitely to handle your hardware infrastructure. At the same time, for example, in those servers, especially you want to deploy some security patch. You want to upgrade a particular OS version. That is your responsibility. You need to take that responsibility to do that one, team. Keep the point in your mind. Okay. Next one, poor security. Security, definitely you can improvise. No doubt in that, team. We can improvise. I don't want to quote here as it's a poor security, but to improve the security, you need to recruit the suitable security team. They can definitely add a firewalls or network securities, each and everything they will add for your server so that they can safeguard your entire infrastructure. But the point is, you need to recruit the team, or you need to have a security engineers. Otherwise, it is not possible, team. Okay, fine. I'm talking about one more point. What about data? See, remember one thing, team. Obviously, whatever the application we just discussed, right? Let's consider e-commerce application, whatever Amazon.com. Usually you will go there, you will select one product and you will check out and you will submit the order, correct? This is the process usually you will do. When you submit a product from the Amazon.site, obviously that particular product order will be saved in the database. Agree or not? Usually their data will be saved in the database only. The database is the one which can hold the information about whatever the orders or whatever the user information, each and everything. All information usually we will store securely in the databases only. Okay, fine. So your data is there in the database. Okay, fine. Let's come here. Now what exactly I'm talking about? Data recovery. For example, team, whatever the data you stored in the database, that database is again underlying some server only. Whether you, let's take an example of laptop, team. Just compare with your laptop. Your laptop is if you consider your laptop consisting of a operating system, underlying is a hardware. You have a hardware. You purchased the hardware from the shop, right? On top of it, you install the operating system. On top of it, you install all your applications, whatever you're watching every day or you're seeing every day in your laptop. Similarly, virtual machines also will be there in the infrastructure or the cloud environments. They are also same. They are also having a underlying infrastructure. On top of it, OS installation. On top of it, application deployments. Not your applications which are there in your laptop. We will call those things as some React application or Java application or .NET application or whatever it is. In the same way, we will call, usually you will call your machine as a laptop. We will call the same thing in the cloud environment or infrastructure terminology. We'll call that one as a virtual machine. We'll call that one as a virtual machine, VM. Remember the point. Even for the database also, you need an infrastructure. You need an infrastructure team. Example, I'm just telling one thing. For example, unfortunately, due to the server failure, you are unable to recover whatever the server been failed as part of your on-premises, unfortunately. Then it's really a very, very big issue if you are unable to recover any data which is there on your database. Take this example only. You stored all your orders, whatever the orders you are submitting to the Amazon.com, everything you are stored in the database. All of a sudden, the DB got crashed. Underlying infrastructure failed. Server failure. That could be a rack failure, that could be a switch failure, that could be a network failure, the wire failure, whatever it is. So your infrastructure is not working, your server is not working, obviously DB will not work. Recovering the data from the on-premises is not so easy until and unless you have a proper planning on this thing. Remember the point. You should have a proper planning, then only you can recover that, otherwise you cannot. Keep the point in your mind. Okay. Data recovery is very difficult, but you need to plan it. Even security is also poor, but you can plan and you can improvise it. But the problem here is, I'm not blaming on-premises team. On-premises is good in few ways. It's good, but the point is you need to maintain or you need to recruit the suitable team. Then only it's really good. Okay. Now I'm talking about one interesting fact here, especially about three things: high availability, disaster recovery, auto scaling. Keep the point in your mind, team. These particular terminologies will hunt you in your real time. Okay. With these three terminologies will hunt you like anything. You should understand what exactly these terminologies referring. If you understand on the day one, it should be very easy for you because our discussions more into in these directions only. So easily you will understand further sessions also. Alright, I just want to give one scenario to you, team. Okay? Right. As I already mentioned, I think Vishnu already got the information saying that it's application which is connecting to the DB only. Okay, same thing we placed here. Application which is connecting to the DB. Obviously, you know very well that application will be deployed into a virtual machine. Database is also deployed into a virtual machine. That's where on-premises, right? On-premises we will do the same. Sorry, team. So on-premises we will do the same. Application will be deployed into the virtual machine. DB also will deploy into the virtual machine. Now the point is, I'm asking a point here. Okay? Your application is here, your DB is here. That's perfect. It's really good. But this infrastructure, whatever the infrastructure you are seeing here, that's where the on-premises, whatever the physical servers they bought, usually all those physical servers are in Singapore because the company belongs to Singapore. Since the company belongs to Singapore, on-premises are also, these particular servers are also sitting in Singapore. Inside of Singapore, there is one company called Singtel. There is one room. In that room, they place these particular servers. That's absolutely good. Now, a person who is connecting from Singapore, this particular site, what of the site, let's call it Amazon.com. He's connecting from Singapore. Obviously, he will get a very quick response. Lowest latency. We will call the terminology as the latency here, team. You can call this one as a response time also. That time terminology also, right? Terminology I'm calling here as a latency. Remember the point, okay? See, these kind of terminologies are really important, team, okay? Really important. I'm delivering these things in your first class itself. There is a reason behind, okay? Because when we go for the discussions on the project levels, because we have a different levels of project. When we are discussing in the project level, you should understand how to configure scaling, how to configure HA, how to configure DR. You should understand these things, team. You should understand these things. DevOps, I told you already, right? DevOps engineers means not only a deployment. You should maintain the infrastructure also really well. So flawless infrastructure is expected from you. You should be able to do that. Keep the point in your mind, team. Right. If you come here, team, a person, let's consider this particular person, who are the person you are seeing on the screen. Okay, this particular person is from Singapore. Okay, let's understand this person is from Singapore. Obviously, your servers are also sitting in Singapore. Since your servers are also sitting in Singapore, the person can get the response very quickly. That's where we'll call that one as the lowest latency. Okay. The same Amazon has a user base in US also, United States. Let's take an example. A person who is trying to access the website, whatever the Amazon.com, whatever the website he's trying to access from the United States, but the server is sitting in Singapore, obviously he will get some higher latency, maybe more than 6 seconds. He's getting in less than 2 seconds, lower latency. He's getting in more than 6 seconds, which is a higher latency. Now, the point is, team, do you really think this is really a suitable or a best solution which you can offer here? Or what exactly your opinion at this particular moment, team? Anyone? What should we do to solve this case? If someone is trying to say, yes, come on. No one knows? Yes, sir.
You probably should have the application servers spread across in multiple regions.
All right. Very good. Yeah. Others also, please. Ashwin, come on. I think you are muted. Chetan, Bob. Come on, guys. You need to be more interactive, okay? Then that's the best case which we can. Oh, sorry, Murali. Come on.
Data centers.
Data centers, what we will do on the data centers, Murali? What we can do on the data centers?
More data centers will help.
No. Okay, maybe, let's comment on the Murali part, okay? The data centers, the concept is different, Murali, okay? I don't want to comment on that, the first and foremost thing, because I understand your concern. So, Murali point is, okay, let's keep the same infrastructure. I think one more infrastructure to facilitate the best case in case of latency. If you think you have the user base in the United States also, better you deploy an application over there. Better you buy a data center. That is what the infrastructure. You just launch your company and also reserve a room and keep the infrastructure inside that particular room. In the United States also, obviously the latency will be very less. That is what our Murali point. Okay, next. Anyone else?
We need a high availability.
One by one, please.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Vivek. We need a high availability, right? For this situation.
Yeah, we need high availability. That's a very good answer. We need high availability. That's absolutely fine. How, now the question is, team, how we can allow the user has the highest availability when they are accessing their application. Okay, that is what exactly we need to think about. Yes, the point morally, the point other persons, I think a few others also rise. That's Hari, I think a few others also rise. Farid, Bob, I think all try to answer. All answers are right. All answers are right. You are already right. The point here is, team, when you have such a situation, basically what exactly, if as part of the on-premises you will think, what our friend Murli mentioned is right. So we need to have the similar infrastructure over there in that particular region. Obviously, then if he try to connect to that particular nearest data center or the infrastructure, definitely he can get some latency at the 2 seconds only. Okay, fine. But the point you need to think about here is, team, two things. This is a regional level high availability. It's a regional level high availability. Okay, regional level high availability, we are talking in the on-premises. That's the point. Okay, a regional level high availability, we are talking in the on-premises. Not so easy, team, because the infrastructure which you need to establish, definitely you need to buy over there in the United States. You need to spend a lot. You need to maintain the infrastructure. Same thing will come again. You need to recruit the team. You need to maintain. You need to go for the hardware and software maintenance. Everything will follow you again there. Right? That's not so easy to maintain the high availability. Another one thing. One more point I'm telling you. Okay, I'm asking one more question, team. In Singapore region, team, you tested this application and the database for the 100 concurrent users. I will tell what is concurrent users means. Concurrent means at a time 100 users are active on your application. Now, you never expected this one, but during the peak hour, maybe 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., your concurrency of this particular, you just thought it can reach max to 100. That is what exactly you verified your performance testing also. Performance testing, load or soak testing also you verified for the 100 concurrent users. That's where your product owner guided. Okay, you are really good, awesome. You tested for 100 concurrent users. What if it is 250? Can you really handle the case? Can you really handle the case? If it is a 250 users which are hitting 250 users who are hitting your application, obviously your virtual machine is under pressure. Your VM is under pressure. That is where exactly users will experience error messages on the screen. Or service not available, or server error, these kind of errors they will experience. To handle that case, that is where exactly the scaling needs to be configured. The scaling is the option which helps us to scale your infrastructure on demand basis. Okay, you just assumed, okay, 100 to 250 users. Okay, we got the 250. Okay, let's configure not only one VM with one application. Let's configure 4 VMs here, so that the same app will be deployed on the 4 VMs. Okay, to handle 250 users. But 250 concurrency will not be continued for entire day, right? Again 250 will become 100, again 100 will become 10 during the midnight, because no one will use your application, very less traffic. Then you need to scale down your infrastructure also. So you need to do this one, actually you need to do this particular activity automatically, which is not so easy to handle this case in terms of on-premise system. That is where exactly cloud is really helping you to make your load scalable based on the demand basis. If only 100 users are there, only one VM will be there. If your number of users are increasing from 100 to 250, it will scale to 4 VMs. Again 250 to 100 users came, again 4 VMs to 1 VM. That is where automatically it will scale, and also you also will be charged accordingly. Not for 4 VMs all the time. For example, you used only 4 VMs for only 30 minutes. Then you will be charged 4 VM charge only for 30 minutes. Rest all 1 VM only. That is the charge exactly they will provide you. But you got the resource on demand basis. You read it, you need it, they will give. Obviously, that is what on demand basis getting the resource. That is the exactly the benefit usually you will get in the clouds. Okay. We understand two things here, high availability and scaling part. I want to discuss one more, disaster recovery. Okay, team, let's consider the case. I already told you, right? This is your Singapore base. Okay, Singapore base. Okay, let's consider your case something like this. Okay, something like this. If you consider this one too, usually you have the same thing I'm just considering, application, database, same thing team. Okay, now whatever the thing here, so this is I'm just considering as SG, and this is I'm just considering as HK, Hong Kong, US, whatever it is. Okay, you can think about anything. This particular thing we'll call as primary. This could be the secondary. Hey, suddenly you changed the terminology primary, secondary. What is this? Team, always remember one thing. You need to keep always in your mind something that your infrastructure always should be duplicated. If your infrastructure is duplicated, definitely you can give the highest availability for your application during disasters. For example, let's take some disaster happened in the Singapore region. Your on-premises data center will not work. Then what you will do? You will go there to Hong Kong and you will set up the infrastructure at that time? That is impossible. It will take few days to do that. That's where we will be ready with our Hong Kong infrastructure or US infrastructure with the proper data centers. We'll be ready with the infrastructure, we'll deploy the applications and we'll be ready, but either you can keep this mode as active, we'll call this one as active, and this one you can call this particular, the secondary one, the primary one I'm just calling as an active, and the secondary one you can call this one as a passive. What is passive? I don't want to keep my secondary alive. I'll make my deployments ready, but I will shut down my application or the database. I will make sure 100% traffic is going to, legitimate traffic is going to primary only. If in case there is a disaster, then 100% traffic I'll make sure should go to the secondary by making application the database up. By making these two up, then I will route the traffic to the secondary. But the point you need to keep, why we need to maintain the disaster recoveries? In case some disaster happened in one region, still you should serve the traffic and you should serve the public. That's why you will make infrastructure in another region so that you can serve the public really better. That is where exactly this particular disaster recovery. But the point is, whatever the things I mentioned here as part of the on-premises, but again, here also disaster recovery also, again, you need to form the infrastructure in the Hong Kong or US. Again, you need to spend some amount, you need to recruit the team, you need to have each and everything, right? The same case team. The problem and the things whatever are highlighted here, whatever the things you are seeing, right? All the problems got sorted by using the cloud environment. That is when, read the definition team, on demand basis, I can get the cloud resources, compute, storage or network, load balancers or event hubs, message queuing systems, can be anything. On demand basis, getting the components such as compute, storage and network resources over the internet on pay-as-you-go basis model is exactly the cloud computing. Now if you see this one team, again repeating, now you can understand the definition easily. See, For example, I need from 1 VM to 4 VMs. Okay, you will get on demand basis. You will get the compute. Compute is nothing but, remember Tim, compute is the one exactly you should keep in your mind. Number of cores plus RAM. That is what usually you have your laptop from the i5 processor from 8 GB RAM, 16 GB RAM, right? Similar to that, in the cloud environment also, we will call the compute. The compute is the one exactly we'll talk about number of CPUs and RAM. That is what exactly the compute. Storage is the one which you know already, and the network resources. That part also we know. So network means, I think maybe at this moment you are not very sure on the network resources and all. The VNets, subnets, network security groups of firewalls, all these things we will get whenever you require. That is what exactly the cloud will provide you. Okay? Alright. To get all these resources over the internet on the pay-as-you-go model. Why you mentioned pay-as-you-go model? Because whatever the resource you used, you will pay only for that. You will not pay more than that. That is the advantage of the pay-as-you-go model, team. And if you see this one, if you scale up, obviously you need to pay more. If you scale down, you no need to pay such an amount. You can pay less. No server space required because you no need to maintain, right? That and all will be taken care by the Azure, AWS, or GCP, or Alibaba, whatever the clouds. Cloud vendor will take care of that. No experts are required to maintain your hardware or software. No one is required, to be frank. From your team is really not required. That is where handled by complete cloud vendor, Azure, AWS, GCP, or Google Cloud, Alibaba, whoever it is. Data security will be the best and the fantastic one when you go for the cloud environments team, because they will maintain each and everything very clearly. They document what are the standards they are following. You can read the documentation and how they are following. You can answer the same thing to the client also. Now as a DevOps engineer, Vishnu can answer easily to his manager what exactly the encryption techniques they are using as part of the data they are storing in the databases and all. He can explain that. HA, scaling will be excellent in the cloud environment. So all the drawbacks, whatever we read over there on the on-premises, all those things got sorted out in the cloud computing team. That's where exactly I just thought to discuss before going for that. Thank you for the session. See you in the next part.